What's up, people? This is Chris Albert. Um, got Came across a video the other day of Chris Lovato talking about the new perspective, if it fits your macros, and how this perspective is, the new way, and how he believes that there's so much science on their side and so much scientific proof on their side, and such a lack of common sense on the other side. The classic bodybuilding bro science way, that he thinks that proponents of if it fits your macros need to dumb it down a bit. And while I agree with him that I don't think that the proponents of if it fits your macros are getting their message across right, I don't think that comes from a lack of intelligence or a lack of common sense on the other side. I think what it comes from is a lack of clarity on the part of the if it fits your macros side. And so what I think we need to do is really define this concept. And while I think others have tried to do this, I think that in some ways they come across pompous and almost like they're talking down to people. And I'm not going to name names, but I'm sure you've heard other videos or looked at some of the feuds going on YouTube. But some of this, for lack of a better word, pompous talk has really degenerated into, a kid coming across as very disrespectful and, garnering hate and more hate for their side. And a lot of people have come to defend this kid, and while I think the kid is very intelligent, his way of bringing things across is not very good. So let's talk about this. If it fits your macros is a strict calculating system. Basically, people who follow this protocol, they calculate what their calories should be, and out of that calculation, they take a certain percentage of calories from protein, a certain percentage of calories from carbohydrates, and a certain percentage of calories from fats. And so they strictly abide by these calculations in their diets. They do not adhere to food timing. So the whole deal where you have to eat every 2 hours, or if you don't get a chicken breast and broccoli by a certain time, you're going to get angry and hit your girlfriend in the face because she held you up, is gone, right? And then the third thing is that 20% of their calories come from foods that would not be normally seen on a bodybuilding diet. So you get things like Pop-Tarts, ice cream, fruit, where a lot of times bodybuilders don't eat a lot of fruit. Just things that they want to eat, things that make things more fun. And so what I don't think people are getting here is that this really isn't something new. Bodybuilders have been doing this for a long time. I've heard interviews with Flex Wheeler talking about before he became big time, he was so poor that he had to diet on loaves of bread and tuna fish, and create his diet that way. Other guys, I've read stories about pros back in the 90s where they'd go to 7-Eleven every week and chow down on hot dogs and Slurpees and things like that. So in reality, qualitatively, these diets are not that dissimilar from a normal bodybuilding diet or what a normal bodybuilder would be doing. I think there's a few different issues here that we see that are making things less clear on both sides. One, like I said, the if it fits your macros people can be kind of pompous and put this off as something new when it isn't. But on the other side, we have kind of like this old guard of bodybuilders, who I wouldn't even call them an old guard. I call them some people who have put in a lot of time into this sport, and they've come up believing certain things where they have to be extremely limit their foods to like 8 foods, like tilapia, chicken breast, broccoli, spinach, egg whites, things like that. And so where I think the lack of clarity comes in there is that up until a certain period of time, there was no YouTube, there was no communications, there was no real thought about what a bodybuilding should look like, except that which came from IFBB pros. Now let's talk about what an IFBB pro diet looks like. Some of these guys are chowing down on, up to 500, 550 grams of protein a day, 600 to 800 grams of carbs per day, and 100 grams of fat. Now, if I ate that much, and if most of you ate that much, you'd be put into the hospital. It's just we don't have the capacity to process that. And if you're not going to be put in the hospital, you'd get fat as shit because you don't have the genetics, the muscle, and yes, the chemical enhancement to really do what you can to process that nutrition. When we think about if it fits your macros, it's very similar, but on a smaller scale, right? And I'm not saying similar in that they're following everything every 2-3 hours. What I'm saying is that qualitatively, they're still getting the scaled protein for their body weight. They're still getting the scaled carbs for their body weight and the scaled fats for their body weight. They're just adding some free calories in and staying below those caloric thresholds and those carb thresholds and the protein and fat thresholds so that they can stay within the parameters that are going to get them shredded for the show. And that's what it is. That's all it is. When you think about trying to eat like one of those pro bodybuilders, on the other hand, if you're going to try and get that many fucking grams of protein, carbs, and fats and get that many calories in, well, fucking eating every 2 hours isn't a scientific necessity. It's a fucking practical necessity. So a lot of these guys fucking have to eat every 2-3 hours just to fucking get that shit in. They have to take digestive aids to fucking make sure that that shit's going through their digestive tracts okay. And there's the difference. So all this fucking bullshit debate, all this shit about people saying that people lack common sense and don't fucking understand it, it's not about common sense. It's about a fucking lack of clarity. You guys are doing the same fucking thing, but you're not fucking making it clear to people that you're doing the same fucking thing. You're like, YOLO, let's fucking eat Pop-Tarts and fucking include it. Fine, do that. That'll fucking work. You guys are getting shredded. You have great fucking bodies. Do that shit. But don't fucking act all fucking pompous and act like fucking Jay Cutler's diet didn't work for him or fucking Branch Warren's diet didn't work for him, and they're not fucking successes because they didn't fucking live their lives and shit, because they fucking did what they had to do to fucking get to where they wanted to be. Now, I could never eat like that. I have to eat more like you guys on the IIFYM side. I do have stricter parameters as far as when I can intake my carbs. I don't take carbs until after I work out, but I pretty much fucking do eat a Pop-Tart every now and then. I do fucking eat ice cream every now and then. And I stay fucking lean. Call it for fucking what it is. You're not fucking special. You didn't come up with some fucking new scientific find. You came up with a fucking classic fucking method that has worked for many people over time. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not fucking hating on anybody, and I'm not trying to fucking say anybody's right or wrong. I'm just fucking saying, don't fucking be pompous, be nice, and let's all thrive together as a bodybuilding community. Gains, motherfucker.